Noam Chomsky, a name synonymous with linguistic brilliance and political dissent, gifted the world with government in the future in 1970. This lecture, delivered at the Poetry Center in New York, was not just another academic exercise, but a profound critique of the political landscape of the time. Chomsky, already a towering figure in the field of linguistics, ventured into the realm of political philosophy with the same rigor and incisiveness that marked his earlier works. This lecture, a searing critique of contemporary political systems, offered a vision for a more equitable future. Chomsky's words resonated with the disillusioned youth of the 1970s, who were grappling with the failures of traditional political structures. His analysis was not just a critique, but a roadmap for those seeking a more just and humane society. Chomsky, never one to shy away from controversy, dissected the shortcomings of existing models and proposed a radical alternative, libertarian socialism. This was not merely an abstract concept, but a call to rethink the very foundations of society. Chomsky's vision was rooted in the belief that true freedom and democracy could only be achieved through the dismantling of oppressive structures and the establishment of a society based on mutual aid and cooperation. This essay delves into the core tenets of Chomsky's argument, exploring his critiques and examining the enduring relevance of his ideas in our turbulent present. In a world where inequality and injustice seem to be growing, Chomsky's insights offer a beacon of hope and a guide for those seeking to challenge the status quo. Chomsky's lecture serves as a springboard for a broader discussion on the role of government in an increasingly complex world. He challenges us to question the very nature of power and authority, urging us to consider alternative models that prioritize human dignity and social justice. He begins by outlining four distinct political philosophies: classical liberalism, libertarian socialism, state socialism, and state capitalism. Each of these systems, according to Chomsky, offers a different perspective on the relationship between the individual and the state, and each has its own set of strengths and weaknesses. Each system, with its own set of merits and demerits, provides a framework for understanding the relationship between the individual and the state. Chomsky's analysis is not just theoretical, but deeply rooted in historical context, drawing on examples from different periods and regions to illustrate his points. Chomsky meticulously dissects each ideology, exposing their inherent contradictions and exploring their historical manifestations. His critique is both thorough and accessible, making complex ideas understandable to a broad audience. Chomsky's analysis is not merely an academic exercise, but a call to action. He urges us to confront the injustices of the present and to work towards a future where power is decentralized and communities are empowered to make decisions that affect their lives. He challenges his audience to confront the injustices of the status quo and consider alternative models of governance. Chomsky's vision is not utopian, but grounded in a realistic assessment of human potential and the possibilities for social change. His words, imbued with a sense of urgency, resonate deeply in an era grappling with unprecedented challenges. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, Chomsky's insights remain as relevant as ever, offering a powerful critique of existing systems and a hopeful vision for the future. Before delving into Chomsky's preferred model, it's crucial to understand the four political systems he dissects. The first system, classical liberalism, advocates for limited government intervention in individual liberties and economic affairs. This ideology emphasizes free markets and individual rights, arguing that minimal state interference allows for the most efficient and just society. Classical liberalism has its roots in the Enlightenment, drawing from thinkers like John Locke and Adam Smith, who believed that personal freedom and economic liberty were the cornerstones of a prosperous society. The second system, libertarian socialism, envisions a society where workers control the means of production and governance is decentralized. This system emphasizes direct democracy and self-management, aiming to eliminate hierarchical structures in both the workplace and government. Libertarian socialism draws inspiration from anarchist and socialist traditions, advocating for a more egalitarian and cooperative society. It seeks to empower individuals and communities, ensuring that everyone has a voice in the decisions that affect their lives. The third system, state socialism, is characterized by centralized state control of the economy and means of production. Often associated with Marxist-Leninist ideology, this system aims to abolish private property and create a classless society. State socialism argues that only through central planning and state ownership can resources be distributed equitably and efficiently. However, critics argue that this concentration of power can lead to authoritarianism and stifle individual freedoms. The fourth system, state capitalism, is a hybrid where private ownership coexists with significant government intervention and regulation of the economy. In state capitalism, the government plays a crucial role in guiding economic development and ensuring stability, often through policies that support large corporations and industries. This system aims to combine the efficiency of the market with the stability and oversight of the state, but it can also lead to cronyism and unequal power dynamics between the state and private sector. Chomsky uses these four systems as archetypes, recognizing that real-world implementations often blur the lines. In practice, many political and economic systems incorporate elements from multiple ideologies, creating hybrid models that reflect the complexities of human societies. By examining these idealized forms, Chomsky provides a framework for understanding the underlying principles and goals of different political systems. However, by dissecting these idealized forms, he illuminates the core tensions and trade-offs inherent in any political system. These tensions often revolve around issues of power, equality, and freedom, highlighting the challenges and compromises that come with governing diverse and dynamic societies. Through this analysis, Chomsky encourages us to critically evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of different systems, fostering a deeper understanding of the political landscape. Chomsky acknowledges the contributions of classical liberalism, particularly its emphasis on individual liberty and limited government. He recognizes its historical role in challenging authoritarianism and promoting Enlightenment values. However, he argues that classical liberalism in its pure form is insufficient to address the complexities of modern industrial society. Chomsky contends that the unfettered pursuit of self-interest, a cornerstone of classical liberalism, can lead to social atomization and economic inequality. He argues that true freedom requires more than just the absence of external constraints. It necessitates the positive ability to participate fully in the social and political life of one's community. This, he posits, is where classical liberalism falls short.
Check one, check.
Chomsky's sympathies lie firmly with libertarian socialism, a system he views as the natural evolution of classical liberalism. He argues that true freedom requires not just political but also economic democracy, where workers have direct control over their workplaces and the means of production. Libertarian socialism, in Chomsky's view, offers a path towards a more just and equitable society by dismantling the hierarchies inherent in both state capitalism and state socialism. Libertarian socialism empowers individuals and communities to chart their own course. Section 5. State socialism. Chomsky levels sharp criticism at state socialism, particularly its Soviet incarnation. He argues that the concentration of power in the hands of a bureaucratic elite, far from liberating the working class, leads to new forms of oppression and exploitation. He criticizes the suppression of dissent and the lack of individual liberty that characterized many state socialist regimes. Chomsky argues that true socialism must be democratic and participatory, rooted in the active involvement of the working class, not in the dictates of a vanguard party. Section 6. State capitalism. Chomsky is equally critical of state capitalism, the dominant system in many Western nations. He argues that while state capitalism may offer some social safety nets, it ultimately serves the interests of a wealthy elite at the expense of the majority. He points to the undue influence of corporations and wealthy individuals on government policy, arguing that this undermines democratic processes and perpetuates economic inequality. Chomsky contends that state capitalism, while often presented as a champion of free markets, relies heavily on government intervention to protect the interests of the powerful. Section 7. Chomsky's Vision. Chomsky envisions a world where workers, through democratic means, control the means of production and manage their own affairs. He believes that such a system would foster solidarity, creativity, and a more equitable distribution of wealth and power. Chomsky's vision is not a utopian fantasy, but a call to action. He recognizes that achieving such a radical transformation requires a fundamental shift in consciousness, a rejection of the status quo, and a willingness to challenge entrenched power structures. Section 8. Relevance Today. Chomsky's ideas, though rooted in the political ferment of the 1960s, retain a startling relevance in the 21st century. His critiques of income inequality, corporate power, and the erosion of democracy resonate deeply in an era marked by economic precarity and political polarization. The challenges posed by automation, climate change, and global pandemics require radical solutions that transcend the limitations of traditional political ideologies. Chomsky's work, with its emphasis on direct democracy, economic justice, and the need for a more humane and equitable society, offers a compelling roadmap for navigating the complexities of our time. Section 9. Conclusion. Noam Chomsky's Government in the Future is more than just a historical artifact, it's a living document. Its ideas as urgent and challenging today as they were over half a century ago. The issues Chomsky addressed, such as the concentration of power, economic inequality, and the erosion of democratic principles, remain deeply relevant. Chomsky's searing critique of state capitalism and state socialism, his unwavering belief in the potential of libertarian socialism, and his vision for a society where individuals have more control over their lives and communities, and his call for a more just and equitable world, continue to inspire activists, thinkers, and changemakers across the globe. Scholars, students, and ordinary citizens alike find resonance in his words, drawing from his insights to fuel their own efforts for social change. As we grapple with the challenges of the 21st century, including climate change, technological disruption, and growing social divides, Chomsky's work serves as a powerful reminder that another world is possible. His writings encourage us to think critically about the systems we live under and to envision alternatives that prioritize human dignity and ecological sustainability. It's up to us, he argues, to imagine and create that world, to take active steps towards building it, to challenge the status quo, to question the existing power structures, and to build a future where power rests not in the hands of the few, but in the hands of the many. This vision of a participatory society is not just a dream, but a necessity for a just and sustainable future.